is a mimer, Roni Visimchi bas Tsion, rejoice, rejoice, daughter of Zion. This is Baloscha Tafshin Chaf Zion, 1967. Roni Visimchi is the opening words of the Haftarah of Shabbos, Parshas Baloscha. So that's why this is a mimer on Baloscha Tafshin Chaf Zion. This Roni Visimchi bas Tsion, besides being the Haftarah of Baloscha, is also the Haftarah of Shabbos Chanukah. So whenever it's Shabbos, Hanukkah, this is Haftarah. So the Alter Rebbe does not comment on Roni Visimchi Baloscha, but he does have a mimer on Roni Visimchi bas Tsion, Shabbos Hanukkah. And the Alter Rebbe asks, why is this the opening words of the Haftarah of Shabbos Hanukkah? In this Haftarah, we discuss this vision of the golden menorah. Oh, Hanukkah, golden menorah, a nevuah talking about the golden menorah, perfect sense. So we understand why, in general, this is the Haftarah of Shabbos Chanukah, but why do we start with these words? Seemingly, Roni Visimchi bas Tsion, we should have started later when it's talking about, and I saw the golden menorah. Very easy. Why are we starting with these words? We know Haftarah generally starts somewhere in the middle of a parak whenever it's applicable. So the words, and actually the opening words, which are really relevant, seemingly should have been cut. Why do we start with these words? Why not just cut to the point, which is the golden menorah? So the answer the Alter Rebbe gives there, in that mimer on Shabbos Hanukkah, is because bas Tsion refers to the Yidden in Galus. And this idea of Hanukkah, this idea of the menorah, this idea of illuminating the darkness, in essence, even though we could say, well, the Jews were in Israel during Hanukkah, it was a Galus in Israel. They were in Eretz Yisrael, and they were in Galus. So therefore, we're setting the stage for the energy of Hanukkah by saying, Roni Visimchi bas Tsion, because that's what we're talking about. Okay, so that is a mimer of the Alter Rebbe on these words for Shabbos Hanukkah. Now, let's get back to what we're talking about, which is not Shabbos Hanukkah, but Shabbos Baloscha. And now we're looking at these same words. And now we're wondering from a slightly different perspective, this idea of Roni Visimchi bas Tsion. Here we don't have the same problems we had Shabbos Hanukkah. Why are we talking about this when we should talk about the golden menorah? We have a different problem. Since the Alter Rebbe established that the reason for the significance of these words is that bas Tsion refers to the Jews in exile, why are we talking about this on Shabbos Parshas Baloscha? Meaning we know every year Baloscha is basically right after Shavuos, right after Matan Torah. We always have Bamidbar, the Shabbos before Shavuos, so then Naso, then Baloscha. So it's always in very close proximity to Matan Torah. So the Alter Rebbe already told us that the significance of these words is it's the Yidden in Galus. Why am I emphasizing the Yidden in Galus right after Matan Torah? In other words, what happened by Matan Torah? By Matan Torah, we became free, right? Who is free? Someone who has Torah. And the Medrash goes, we actually became free of the Malach HaMaves, so we messed up with Chet HaEgel, but we had lots and lots of freedoms that came with Matan Torah. So of all times to emphasize the Yidden in Galus, this surely makes no sense. So why is the Haftarah of Baloscha right after Matan Torah? Roni Visimchi bas Tsion. That's our original question. Now we're going to add to the question, so to speak, with a very, very interesting medrash. Now this medrash connects to Matan Torah, because again, our setting, the stage we're looking at is we just had Matan Torah. Matan Torah is defining now our relationship with Hashem. This is right after this. So this Haftarah must be part of the post-Matan Torah relationship with Hashem, which surely isn't bas Tsion Galus. So besides bas Tsion Galus problem, we've got another problem. And this is a very beautiful medrash. It has to do with Matan Torah. On the pasuk, Senu ure'ena benos Tsion, b'melech shloimo, ba'atara she'itra lo ima. That is a beautiful pasuk from Shir Hashirim. It's a famous pasuk. Senu ure'ena benos Tsion. Go out and see daughters of Zion, b'melech shloimo, with the king Shlomo, ba'atara she'itra lo ima, with the crown that his mother crowned him. Now, why are we connecting this pasuk to Roni Visimchi bas Tsion? I'm confused. Is this pasuk in our Haftarah? No. This is a pasuk from Shir Hashirim. So why did the Rebbe bring it into the mimer? For two very strong reasons. Our pasuk is Roni Visimchi bas Tsion, and this pasuk is Tsen ure'ena benos Tsion. So obviously there's a connection between these two verses. And additionally, our whole question on Roni Visimchi bas Tsion is because it's right post Matan Torah. Well, this pasuk Tsion b'Melech Shlomo is talking about by Matan Torah. So this pasuk not only does it have Bas Tsion b'no Tsion, but Baloscha right after Matan Torah. This pasuk from Shir Hashirim is describing our relationship to Hashem right after Matan Torah. So clearly, the energy, the dynamics of this pasuk b'no Tsion Batarash Ishra Lo Imo is going to reflect on our pasuk Roni Visimchi Bas Tsion. So what is the import? What is the message from this very interesting pasuk from Shir Hashirim? Right? Senor Ena b'no Tsion, go out and see daughters of Zion, the Melech Shlomo, the King Shlomo, Batara she'itra lo imo, in the crown, we're talking about the king, well, the king has a crown, in the crown that his mother crowned him. So the Medrash says that really we have, I'm saying in my own words, a threefold relationship with Hashem. As the Medrash says, that Hashem loves us so much, he called us his daughter, like we see, B'not Tsion, Bas Tsion. Then he has even more love for us, and he calls us his sister. And then he has even more love for us, and he calls us his mother. So we start off in the pasuk, Tzenurena b'nos Tzion, go out and see daughters of Zion, daughters. Hashem has so much love for you, you're like his daughter. But by the end of the pasuk, we're talking about Melech Shlomo, the king, the Melech, symbolic of Melech Malchim Lachem HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God, the ultimate king. But Atara she'itra lo imo, in the crown that his mother, meaning Klal Yisrael, as the mother kivyachol, so to speak, energy vis-a-vis Hashem, which what does that mean? Well, we'll unpack it a little. The mother, Klal Yisrael, as the mother, is gifting, is crowning Hashem with this crown, or crowns, by Matan Torah. So without understanding much about the pasuk, what we know is, we start off as Bas, then Hashem has even more love for us and we're the sister. And then Hashem has even more love for us, and we're the mother. And by Matan Torah, we're that mother that's crowning, right? We're the giver, we're the mother. So we're crowning our son, so to speak. We're crowning the King of all kings. We're crowning Hashem because we're the mother. We can be the givers. And that was our relationship by Matan Torah. So before we can unpack what this means, that we're the mother, because that, of course, is like, huh? Before we get to that, wait a minute. This, of course, was said to enhance our problems with our pasuk. The opening words of the Haftarah Baloscha. So first of all, Roni Visimchi Bas Tsion, the Alter Rebbe said Bas Tsion is Galus, and we should be talking about freedom. This is right after Matan Torah. Second of all, again, this is right after Matan Torah, and we see clearly from this pasuk, from Shir Hashirim and the Midrash on this pasuk, that by Matan Torah we ascended to the level of mother. Yes, we started off as daughter, but then we went higher to sister. And then we went highest to mother, and that's the relationship we have by Matan Torah. Mother, we're crowning Hashem, we're giving, we're the mother. So why are we coming all the way down and saying Bas Tsion? It's nice, but mother is even nicer, seemingly. And we're post Matan Torah, we're the mothers. Why are we demoting ourselves to be the daughter? So there are two questions on the significance of this Haftarah, and again, this Haftarah juxtaposed to, right after Matan Torah, we have the freedom, no galus, we have the mother, not daughter. What's going on? Before we understand what's going on, we're not going to answer the question yet. Let's first understand, what does this midrash mean? We're Hashem's daughter, we're Hashem's sister, we're Hashem's mother. I thought this was fascinating. I thought this was like really cool and interesting. To be the daughter, I understand. Then we become Hashem's sister. Then we become Hashem's mother. Like, wow, what is Klal Yisrael doing? What does this mean? To unpack this midrash, Hashem's daughter means our basic relationship of doing mitzvahs. Hashem's sister means a higher level relationship, learning Torah. Hashem's mother means, Kivyachol, Hashem's mother, the highest relationship, the relationship of Mesiras Nefesh. Why are we saying mitzvahs, Torah, and Mesiras Nefesh is daughter, sister, mother? Because daughter is the first step. Daughter is simple. The daughter is your child. Your child is your makabel, right? We're the givers, and the children are just feed me, feed me, feed me, fill me up, fill me up, fill me up. The makabel, the ultimate recipients of all of our goodness and all of our kaichas, right? We're just pouring it in because they're our child. That's like the most basic relationship to Hashem, when Hashem's the giver and I'm the recipient. And the relationship, the dynamics of the relationship is through my mitzvahs. As I do mitzvahs and Hashem can give me, and then I do mitzvahs and Hashem can give me. So that's the makabel, the child doing mitzvahs, simple, basic, initial relationship a Jew has with Hashem. When we progress spiritually, we can move on to something that's on a tremendously higher plane, which is learning Torah. When I'm learning Torah already, kivyachol, obviously, but there's a certain equality in the relationship. As Acham said, when a Jew sits and learns Torah, Hashem is sitting and learning with him. Right now, me, you, Hashem, we're all learning this together. My mind is invested in the mind of Hashem, and the mind of Hashem is invested in my mind, right? Parakeh of Tanya. This interwoven double grasp of my mind in Hashem's mind and Hashem's mind in my mind. So that implies a more equal relationship, like siblings. But there's higher. There's even higher than that. And even higher than that is Mesiras Nefesh. Because Mesiras Nefesh is ultimately me gifting Hashem. Me being the giver in the relationship. How can I be the giver in a relationship? It's me and God. Because Hashem set it up this way. Hashem gave us the ability to serve him. Mitzvahs, I'm the Makabel, I'm the recipient and I'm serving. To ascend to him, Torah, where Hashem and I become one, as of course is elaborated on extensively in Tanya. The absolute fusion, yichud, gamor, complete, indescribable in our world. Nothing has this bond like a Jew with Hashem when he is learning Torah. Do we have the same bond when we're doing mitzvahs? No, we actually don't. It's a learning Torah exclusive bond, like we're doing right now. That's yichud gamor, that's oneness, that's the siblings. But then Hashem set up something like even crazier. Hashem gave us the ability to go beyond the laws. Because Mesiras Nefesh is not, the whole definition of Mesiras Nefesh means it's beyond the laws. Like I can't say you don't have to, because obviously there's certain times when you have to be Mesiras Nefesh, and obviously there's certain times when you don't have to, and it's a choice. But even when you have to, it's still viewed as like this incredible gift to Hashem, meaning like being very technical, just to express the point, a Jew has to be Mesiras Nefesh, not to serve idols, right? Obviously, a Jew's not allowed to serve idols. And obviously, a Jew should never want to serve idols. But let's say, as happened countless times in our history, there's the duress. Well, we know, die, Mesiras Nefesh, give up your life for God, as countless Jews have done. So in the Middle Ages, the world was washed in the blood of the Jews. Those Jews were butchered in the name of the cross. Mesiras Nefesh, sacrifice, not giving up God, not serving idols. Now let's say, just to understand the concept, let's say a Jew said, I don't want to die. I don't want to serve idols. I have no desire, passion, taiva, nothing's calling me to accept this ridiculous, man-made Hakachaynik thing here. But I don't want to die. So I'll pretend I'm accepting. What would happen then? Are they chayav? Are they guilty for the sin of idolatry? Actually not. It was totally unwilling. It was totally duress. It's what we call oinus. Oinus means when you don't want to do the aveira and you, for whatever technical story reasons, whatever was the wrapping paper around your situation, you wound up doing something you absolutely didn't want to do. It's not like you walked out of the bathroom and you were spaced out and you turned on or off a light. That's not oinus. That's shaygig. You forgot. Oinus means like a compulsion. A duress is forcing you to do something you don't want to do. Like the Jews that were forced to work on Shabbos in the concentration camps, in Siberian labor camps. They don't want to Mechal Shabbos. They didn't forget it was Shabbos. They didn't miscount the days. They knew it's Saturday. They knew it's Shabbos. They knew they're not allowed to work on Shabbos. They were forced to work on Shabbos. That's called oinus. Well, the law is oinus rachamana patre. If someone is compelled, if it's such a situation, they're forced. They have absolutely no choice. I don't know, you got on a plane and it was totally supposed to land before Chatzos on Friday. And some crazy story happened and you're still on that plane Friday night. Oinus. You had no desire to be on a plane on Shabbos. Oinus rachamana patre. So if a Jew is in a situation where he is supposed to do Mesiras Nefesh, he is supposed to self-sacrifice, and he messes up, so to speak, and doesn't, he's still not chayav for idolatry. He's oinus rachamana patre. So that means even in the situations when we don't have the choice and we have to be Mesiras Nefesh, still it's a gift to God. Because in the end of the day, Hashem's not punishing us for something that we totally didn't want to do. We were totally compelled and under duress. And how much more so for many, many, many situations of Mesiras Nefesh, where it's totally optional. Times Jews chose to be Meiser Nefesh, and they didn't have to. I was speaking before about working on Shabbos, like in concentration camp, in Siberian labor camps. Of course, there's a famous story. Many of you maybe have read the book. It's wonderful, worth reading, Sabota, about a chassid. When you're reading it, it's not clear he's Lubavitcher chassid. I happen to have met him personally. Laser Nana, maybe Sterner, you probably know him.
To learn with him.
He is a very special chassid who actually the Rebbe said that all the years he was in Siberia were not part of his cheshbon of life. I think then he asked the Rebbe, what about the other years he was stuck in Russia till he got out? And I don't know if the Rebbe answered that. But the Rebbe said, Klar, those 20 years he was in Siberia weren't from his cheshbon.
Right.
So what I'm bringing out now in this, I'm giving an example, a very incredible example of someone who did not have to be Meiser Nefesh. For 20 years, every Shabbos, he was Meiser Nefesh. Every Shabbos, he refused to work, and there were bigger rabbis than him and more learned scholars than him, and they worked, and we're not at all judging them. It was his choice. That's a Yid who's choosing to be Meiser Nefesh, and there were many Yidden throughout history that didn't have to, but chose. Some died, some survived, but they were all the mother. They're all giving Hashem a gift. So you're the child, you're the recipient, you're doing the mitzvahs, basic, simple mitzvahs, maisias, and you're receiving from Hashem. You graduate in your relationship, you're the sibling, you're like equals, you're learning Torah together, you're learning Torah with the Eibishter, your mind and Hashem's mind are one. You're biyichud gomor, you're absolute fusion, equality. And then you ascend more. You're even going on a higher level of spirituality, and you're the mother. You're giving Hashem. Hashem set it up, obviously. He's the Eibishter. We don't have any questions here. But he set up a situation that we could be Kivyachol, the mother. And this is what we achieve by Matan Torah. By Matan Torah, as we said, Na'aseh v'nishma, it's like we're crowning Hashem. We're giving Hashem the gift of our Mesiras Nefesh, the Mesiras Nefesh of, we have no clue what's in the Torah. We accept, we take it. We want it. It's you, we want it. We don't know what it is we want. You want us to want it, we're in. We're fine. Na'aseh v'nishma, the crowns we crowned Hashem with. So you could say, well, why is that Mesiras Nefesh? The Jews in the Midrash did not have to have Mesiras Nefesh. They had a great life for most of the time. True, but the Rebbe says, in essence, the core of Mesiras Nefesh, everything goes to the same point with the Rebbe, and one of those points we always get to is bittul, essential of all Hasidic thought. The core of Mesiras Nefesh is bittul. So when the person is under duress to serve the idol, or they'll kill us, and we say, fine, we're going to die, it's that nullification. This is the will of Hashem. You're not, you could say, wow, what's the big deal? One dramatic moment. Well, what's the big deal? You're giving up your whole life. So in that situation, you're just batal. It doesn't make sense. I could bow now. The Goyim will leave. I'm going to serve Hashem for the rest of my life. I'll support my wife. I'll support my children. I'll leave it a firm life. I'll keep bittul. We have the same logic with Shabbos. Desecrate one Shabbos so you can keep many Shabbosim. Bittul. Mesiras Nefesh in its core is complete nullification of self to God. So when the Jews said Na'aseh v'nishma, that was a Mesiras Nefesh moment. Not Mesiras Nefesh that there was somebody with a knife to their throat, though of course Kaf Aleim Har Kegigis, but this was before that. But the Mesiras Nefesh was, we don't know what's in the Torah. Hashem, you offering this? That's it. We want it. Na'aseh v'nishma. Complete Mesiras Nefesh. It's about you. Complete bittul. I don't even know what I'm getting into. I don't even know what I'm accepting. But this is what you want to give, we're receiving. So that was this moment of Mesiras Nefesh, of bittul, which is the embodiment of Mesiras Nefesh, leading up to Matan Torah, Na'aseh v'nishma, the crowns we crowned Hashem. This is the relationship we have with Hashem. And then suddenly in Baal Oscha, we get demoted, all the way down, and we're the child again? What's going on? So these are the two questions we have on this Haftarah, Roni Visimchi Bas Tsion, in Shabbos Parashat Loscha, right after Matan Torah. Why are we focusing on the Golos situation when it's Geula by Matan Torah at least? And why are we calling us Bas when we're the mother? Batarash Itra Lo Imo. Before we answer that, let's answer something else. why are we reading this Haftarah now? Meaning, we don't even know the first pasuk and Bas Tsion and Galus and why are we a child instead of the mother. But what's the whole point of Haftarah? So the Rebbe says, well, that's pretty obvious because the Haftarah, the same reason, so to speak, for a different reason, but the same reason, why it works by Shabbos Hanukkah, it's talking about the candles, the lights, the golden menorah. So just as in Hanukkah, we're focusing on this Haftarah because of the menorah, that concept, the symbolism, the import of the menorah. So also here, after Matan Torah, when we are on the level of the mother, Batara She'itra Lo Imo, what's more appropriate, skip the first pasuk, than a Haftarah discussing us as the candles, as the lights. Why? Because that's the idea of Matan Torah. We became the mothers. We're the givers, kivyachol, to Hashem. And that's what the candles are, right? The menorah in the Beis HaMikdash, as we know, its light wasn't to illuminate the Beis HaMikdash. Its light went outside. The windows of the Beis HaMikdash were the opposite. They were like this, that the light should go out, not be drawn in. The candles, the lights, the light of the Jewish people to illuminate the world, this is us gifting Hashem. Ner Hashem nishmas Adam. My neshama is Hashem's candle. When that candle is ignited, when my light is shining, I'm illuminating the world, and that's my gift to Hashem. So the truth is, the Rebbe says, putting the first pasuk on the side, it actually makes a lot of sense that Am Baloscha, right after Matan Torah, we focus on this Haftarah, looking at the theme of us being God's candle, because us being God's candle means we're illuminating, we're giving light, we're gifting Hashem, we're the mothers, which is what we achieve in Matan Torah. But if that's so, this just compounds our question. Then what are we looking at that first pasuk? Roni, Visimchi, Bas Tsion. Before I said Bas Tsion, Galus, this is Matan Torah, freedom. Bas Tsion, Abbas, this is Matan Torah, I'm the mother. And now I'm saying again, if this whole Haftarah is because of the candle, because of the motif of us as giving life, Ner Hashem Nishmas Adam, the givers, again, why am I starting with Bas Tsion, the recipient? This is by Matan Torah. I'm the one that's illuminating. I'm giving God a luminous world. I'm a giver. I'm the mother. I'm not the boss. So now we're ready to start answering some of the questions.